Good morning everybody. Namaskar. This is Engineer Suraj Singh speaking from Bharat, India on August 12, 2021, Thursday. Interruption of last video, so it's another one. Continuing talk on quality and safety. This was disturbed, so now we're talking continuously on quality and of course on job hazard analysis. I was talking of safety issues. Important item in construction world, job hazard analysis and then task activity and hazard control sheets. This is what I talked of. I talked of safety task analysis risk reduction talks start, a process that utilizes employees personnel to identify and resolve environmental safety and health hazards associated with a task prior to its being performed, and job hazard analysis or assessment, which identifies key job steps, tools, equipment, potential environmental safety and health hazards, hazard control practices, required personal protection equipment (PPE) for larger, more complex and usually repetitive jobs, prepared by team normally consists of representatives from environmental safety and health department, employees, supervisors and field engineering representative, and task activity, specific activity or subpart of a job, that is installing a pipe hanger, building a concrete form, or installing electrical power to for assisting line supervision in developing a start card or JHA process. And we were somewhere, you can say, on last time we are somewhere on concrete. You see, if you remember that concrete hazards we were there. I'll just go back to this one and see this is the hazard sheets. We had done many items and we were doing of that, it was, I remember it was concrete and removal of waste material. Yes, it is concrete with concrete. It works concrete. Hazard analysis and control program. It is concrete pores or pores I talked yesterday. And this is, we can say, in this hazards, manual handling, defective plant equipment, falling metals, but let us say it's much more because we have to pour concrete, and concrete is very heavy material, it's wet material. It's not solid, just put on and fix it. It's received wet from our equipment, from our batching plant. What processes for ready mix and one process is for site mixing. There are two processes. Before going further into considering of hazards, we have to know background and their surrounded by aggregates, stores covered under shed probably, and if not covered, all aggregate are protected from shed, and it's enough space wise that trucks can enter into its delivery system to receive, to fill in concrete and then way out and way in. So it is quite a, you can say, plant where 2 mixers or 3 mixers or 4 mixers, depending on capacity of that plant, are installed, electronically maintained. Silos are available for cement. Other methods are available for admixing supplementary cementing material or admixtures. and various ways how to use water filling, how to use cement filling, pouring into mixers and aggregates filling using mechanical means. It's completely automatized. There's nothing else done. Even heaps of aggregates are raised using shovel machine. So this batching plant, or you may call it central mixing plant, on any project or somewhere, it is usually located near project, within reach of say half to maximum 1 hour or half an hour, 30 minutes. If it's not available on major projects, this is installed for project itself. Say project concrete maybe 200,000 cubic meter, 400,000 cubic meter to be done in a year or 2 years. And if a company feels or contractor feels that it is justified economically, technically, financially, and also practically, feasibility exists that we should buy one concrete processing batching plant and install on site. So you can say it's a kind of unique system available on site, or commercially it's available somewhere else. Whatever way, we receive this concrete from that batching plant depending on our requirement, and we have to understand that point. It takes time from batching plant to transporting to site, maybe say 30 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever. And then it is taken to testing on site, and then from testing approval, it's taken to either mobile crane or tower crane or concrete pump. That's also installed by batching plant. And then pump or crane raises concrete onto location where we have to involve concrete arrangement, pouring of concrete. That is one way. Another way is that we have site mixing arrangement, and it's mixed on site for smaller concretes, not very big. Say you have to cast 5 cubic meter, 2 cubic meter, whatever. Means you have calibrated plant on site. If it is permissible, I'm not saying you to just accept it. If it is permissible, it depends. In many countries it's done, because of everything is not available everywhere. All batching plants are not available. So we can convert that site mixer into calibrated plant and use it weight wise, not volume wise. Dial weight indicators are fixed, and we have to do it that way. So it depends upon. Generally batching plant concrete is used nowadays. Site mixing is avoided. Now question is that up to precautions at batching plant is business of batching plant operator. That's not your business. You are on site and you have to take care of safety arrangements on site. You may cast foundations, you may cast columns, you may cast beams, you may cast slabs, whatever a component or element we have to cast. Safety depends upon that. Quantity you have to cast, speed you have to cast, how many people are there on that location where concrete is cast, depends upon that. But safety elements occur everywhere. We have to think of that. Once you have practiced, when you have seen work done, it's very easy to understand what risks are involved. You're just sitting in office without going to site, you can't understand that. There are chances of everything. There are chances. Machine is involved, human resources are involved. Every resource is involved. Chances of failure of everything are there. I'm not talking of quality system here, I'm talking of safety system. Crane boom can come down. There can be someone below boom. There will be someone else. Slab is there, column is there. There can be fall of something. Generally, we can say we use how to go up on some height for pouring, for which we have to use access stairs and platforms, temporary platforms and temporary access steps or stairs. It may be column pour or it may be slab pour. We use scaffolding around slab, we use scaffolding along column. or then that's for work of column and pouring, and also use platform there based on scaffolding. That platform is temporary work, maybe for 1 day or half a day or 2 days or 3 days. It shall be dismantled later on. But point of view is it should be safe. That's important point. It should be safe while people work on that. Say 10 people are standing on scaffold of columns, for pouring columns, for handling vibrator. It should be completely safe. It should have proper access, proper work arrangement, enough strong for people's activity, enough strong for vibrator activity, and for all columns it should be transportable, stress possible. If it's slab or columns, I have told you about columns. On slabs also, all sides of slabs, suspended slab we usually call them. Slabs and beams are called slab pour. Slab portion and beam portion generally, along with small necks of columns, are poured at same time, monolithically, and that is very serious pour, quantity wise and quality wise and safety wise. All three vices should be wise enough, you can say. Maybe 25 people, 30 people, 40 people work on slab top, or if it's one location of pour, 2 locations, then it can multiply further. There is arrangement of timber, ply, battens or other girders, and below that system of support, and surrounding is scaffolding based access, and then platform around. We pour, let us say we pour half a cubic meter per location. Person say 70 kilogram, there are 10 people standing around. 700 kilogram is that weight, or 10, 15 people stand. An application of vibrator. Likewise, you can say that scaffolding system should be strong enough at that point, that ply system should be strong enough, and that complete system should be strong enough. That is technical requirement, that is mechanical requirement, that is design requirement. Though it's designed for a few hours, but it is design. Accident can happen in 1 minute also. If your scaffolding is loose, if a ply system is loose, timber system is loose, it opens at time of pouring. So people can fall. Of course, systems are very strong these days. Previously used your props, jacks, used timber, bullies, supporting system. Now system is proprietary one. Of course, it depends how many times to be used. It may be weakened. It may be, you can say, a big grid now size of ply, for example. Size of ply is generally 1.2 into 2.4, and that system is there. But it's strong enough to take load, and then you have to put girders on that, or you can some horizontal members so that you could fix in that. It should be strong enough. Your access to that level should be strong enough. If you provide temporary stairs, that should be strong enough. We have to see every point. All side supports of beam should be strong enough. Where handling of people should be strong enough. There should be no chances of collapse of shutters or collapse of sides, or you can say all these temporary arrangements should be very strong, more than permanent arrangement, for safety purpose. And it happens that generally you might have heard news that newspapers say, oh, that slab has come down. Actually, slab doesn't come down. That is formwork that has come down. And formwork comes down means if it collapses, people standing on that, working on that, they also collapse. This accident. So we have to understand this means it's not simply manual handling, as I said, it's mechanical handling. Its plant is defective, for example, you can say your machine, your tower crane, your mobile crane, your pump is defective. There can be some fall of concrete on head also if somebody stands below beam or somebody stands below crane itself. Some accident happens to crane. Means we have to take precautions. Personal protective equipment are very important. We can't avoid them. This happens and we have to take care of that. It's a very important point. We have to be very smart enough in this case. Just give me 2 minutes, please. So slab pouring is really very interesting and difficult one from every point of view. We cannot take it lightly. It has to be understood. It's understood in that regard that what I say is risky for everything. It's risky for everyone. It's very difficult, though it looks easy if you see practically, but slab pouring it's not treated up. familyhandyman.com. That's what it says. It's about them opening one site. It's familyhandyman.com. Project concrete forms and pouring concrete slab. Let's say it says how to form a pour concrete slab. Or this is something different. It's required. Metal required, half-inch diary bar, duplex nails, plastic anchor bolts, concrete, Wet concrete on skin can cause everything. Let us read this first. Okay, we'll close that side better, or so the memory should not go in. It says permanently disfiguring chemical burns. You and your helpers should take these steps. Wear eye protection. Sandy concrete splashes can wreak havoc with your eyes. That's okay, that's true. Wear long pants. Wear tall rubber boots if you have to wade in wet concrete, or gumshoes we generally use. Just wet. If your clothes get saturated with wet cement, remove them thoroughly, rinse your skin, and change into clean clothes before going back to work. And string. Our builders level to salvage ground slopes. Flattening a sloped side means moving tons of soils. You could build up low side or dig high side into slope. Your concrete slab will last longer with less cracking and movement. It's built on solid, well-drained soil. Well, that's ground slabs talking. If you have sandy soil, you're in luck. Just scrape off sod and topsoil. I think. Set and level one side. Okay, this leveling. We can talk somewhere else. Then we can say uh, form boards as you nail. Brace forms to ensure straight sides. Freshly poured concrete can push from boards outwards, leaving your slab with a curved edge. That's almost impossible to fix. Best way to avoid this is with extra strong bracing. 24 stakes into the kickers, good clothes, shirts or pants. Plant and equipment used during concrete placing to be operated by trained and authorized personnel only, and that too under close supervision. Concrete should be procured from an approved concrete mixing plant, sorry, spelling wrong, and transported to site using transit mixer. You know this mixer, and everybody knows about concrete plant. I have explained already. All plant and equipment shall carry current certification cause any accident during transport of concrete. And also on site, your machine, equipment, crane, plant, equipment, pump, all must be fit and safe so that no accidents chances are probable or practical. It means you should not see any accident. But says all plant and equipment shall carry current certification and be maintained in a safe condition. Defective plant equipment to be removed from service and effective remedies taken care of. Slinging and lifting operations. Slinging and lifting operations to be carried out by trained personnel. Means slinging, sling when you hang some non-steel chain sling or to lift some item, it should be done by trained personnel. Not everybody is qualified for that, and there should be some banking personnel around to direct which to stop or continue, and there should be no one within that zone of slinging or lifting. Unauthorized personnel must be prohibited from entering areas where concrete placing activities are currently undertaken. Only those people who are responsible for this team work rebar or reinforcing bar fixing should be maintained with timber boarding to provide a safe access for workers and place of work. We should not walk on steel bars. Concrete pump should be so stationed that its boom reaches to site location conveniently, and concrete is poured to locations without causing any impact on concrete pulling manually. Workers in crew should not stand below concrete pump boom discharge outlet. Now this is very, very common, and of course sometimes people don't care. We have to select location for concrete pump first. While starting concrete, we have to take a, you can say, mock-up test, which usually pump operators do. I have seen they station pump and see up to where concrete can reach, and workers working on slab, they know up to which point it reaches because they pour. If it doesn't cover all areas, then we have to change from time to time location of concrete pump. Or if you have more than one pump, or you have many pumps that cover whole site, that's fine, there's no problem. But it is important point, because if pump operator places concrete a few meter away from location, it shall cause a problem. You have to pull concrete there, and which is not acceptable practice, because during pulling it can segregate. That is quality defect. It's therefore very important point that concrete pump should be so stationed that its boom reaches to site location conveniently without any problem, and concrete is poured to proposed locations without causing any impact or concrete pulling requirement manually. Workers in crew should not stand below concrete pump while it's pouring. Boom discharge, they should be either this off or that off, because they have to receive concrete. That's also important. Workers in crew should not stand below concrete pump boom discharge outlet. They have to be either that way or this way, but they have to receive discharge. That point must not be ignored. They can't go away from there. Provide cold drinks and refreshments to all crew workers for long hour concrete pours to prevent dehydration due to heat generated by hard work. So provide cold drinks and refreshments. This usually it happens on every site with a long course, say 10 hours, 8 hours, 20 hours, 15 hours. Generally, food is provided, tea is provided, water is provided. This is practical, and this should be. A life of our health of our workers is very important. And if they don't have the healthy, they can't work. Means you have to see cost of concrete, their wages. If you compare expenses on that pour, and also compare it to whatever you give them refreshment, I think it's very small amount percentage wise. We have to count that in budget, and even if you don't count in budget, humanity requires that you have to do it. Sometimes some company doesn't pay, then I think engineers arrange themselves, because it's they who have to extract work from them. It depends from company to company, organization to organization. So cold drinks is not very expensive, refreshment is not very expensive. Sometimes when people in private sector, private buildings, they do lantern work, they call lantern actually, not slab. They distribute some sweets, some cold drinks, something like that. So it means general. Provide some refreshment, I can say, to all workers when they work for long hours on concrete, to avoid, to get escape from dehydration impact. Then allow rest pauses. Rest is very important. Maybe it is 10 minutes only. Allow rest pauses intermittently to crew groups by replacing with other workers, because sometimes even 10 to 15 minutes rest gives energy gain for 2-3 hours. Allow rest pauses intermittently to crew groups by replacing with other workers. Now during night hours, hot tea should also be allowed for upkeep of mood. During night hours, hot tea should also be allowed for upkeep of mood, and this usually happens. This is good practice, because not only workers, those engineers and supervisors and foremen who are available on that pour, they also have to consume that. While applying power float, you usually call it helicopter. People call it helicopter. While applying power float or helicopter on curing, tired crew members should not be deployed. You should deploy free members, because it's a continuous job with machine, and tired members or fatigued members have to rest also. So you can say, while applying power float and curing application, tired crew members should not be deployed. Adequate light illuminations should be provided at night hour operation, both for above and below suspended slab pours, to ensure supports are intact. Adequate lights should be provided at night hour operations, both above and below suspended slab pours, to ensure our supports are intact. Requirement of traffic diversion should be conducted if so required, if so necessary, during day as well as during night hours, if your site is located somewhere in public area, traffic area. So that permission must be obtained if legally required. Then traffic jam should not be allowed. To clear jam, either have to display, you have to engage your own security people to divert traffic, or you have to take help from police. Whatever arrangement is indicated, that should be taken care of. You have to deploy your own personnel for ease of direction of traffic. We can stand there because your station pump is stationed, and maybe sometimes 50 transit mixers come to site whole day, 50, 60. That takes road jam that comes to your entry, and maybe sometimes there's a long queue of transit mixers on your street that can cause impedance, that can obstruct flow of traffic, local traffic. So there should be someone to guide them how to come out of that jam, and there should be location of these transit mixers to stand safe on side of road or inside your area. You can say transit mixers and concrete pumps may occupy road space temporarily, for which official permission as well as traffic diversion made with signaling persons of flagsmen on duty throughout concrete operation remaining ongoing, and specific areas should be selected at off-site locations with official permission or approval for clearing transit mixers after concrete has been delivered or discharged to location on site. All such dumped concrete after it is dried out, should be removed to permanent dumping site, keeping in view environmental controls, and that permission must be obtained from authority. It may be operational authority or municipality or other local body from whom permission may be required, because this material cannot be kept on site. It must go to its place for further digestion. If this material may be landfill or maybe something else, that's different issue. Then adequate curing arrangements should be made post pour of concrete using water hose up to required level by pumping or otherwise. Minimum manual handling of water for curing using bucket etc. should be conducted. That is curing arrangement, which is very important one for every site, for every concrete, without which you can say nothing is possible. That adequate curing arrangements, it may be curing compound, it may be water curing, it may be something else, whatever it is, it may be thermal curing, it should be properly arranged, and it should be made post pour using water hose or some other method, whichever is agreed between contractor and engineer technically. Adequate curing arrangement should be made post pour using water hose up to required level by pumping otherwise, and those people, the workers who stand on that, they must be safe. Minimum manual handling of water for curing using bucket etc. should be conducted. Means it should be least manual, it should be mechanical or by automatic pumping. When curing is conducted using curing compound, all precautions envisaged by compound manufacturer should be strictly adhered to, because chemical compound is like curing compound is like a chemical, though it doesn't have that type of chemical yet. Something is there that can enter your eyes, that can be like stick to your skin, because it is sprayed. So every care must be taken. You using gun for this, or you can say spray tool for this curing. You can say vertical members are very risky, horizontal members too. So we have to take every precaution in addition to PPE, and that's very important for that person while filling into that tool, curing shooting tool or gun, so called it curing gun, this material from drum, and while spraying it, fogging it, when using certain defects observed post concrete, whatever chemicals to be used, or you can say construction chemicals to use for repairs of that defective concrete, that should be complied with what instructions comes from manufacturer, or you can say manufacturer instruction should be complied with on doing that work or that application method. Mask should be used while using curing compound or application of construction chemicals for your repair. These are very important facts from safety viewpoint. By concrete surface chipping, you have to chip surface. That chip can enter your eyes. When certain repairs are required by concrete surface chipping, adequate precautions should be taken by protection of eyes. Mask should be used while chipping or working. Goggles should be used, goggles. And still underwater cement reaction, it can harm this. That's called heat generation. Shakuntala, Shakuntala, Shakuntala. When certain repairs are required, by concrete surface chipping, adequate precautions should be taken by protection of eyes. Mask should be used while chipping or working in concrete areas that are still underwater cement reactions. Should repairs be conducted in basements or areas where no ventilation is available, adequate ventilation arrangements should be made available by providing suitable fans or ducts to supply fresh air. Fresh air is very important for everybody, and in basements, if it's not available, then you have to provide by some system that natural air should enter that area for purpose of positive respiration, for avoiding suffocation, so that people keep intact without suffocation and they use fresh air for their body system, so as not to cause dehydration or giddiness. Adequate lighting should be provided in all such non-ventilated areas, and no loose cables are allowed. Cables are protected, and people should not collapse due to that. Maybe it's still dark and people stumble on cables. It can cause explosion of electricity or sparking, as well as it can harm people, harm workers. We have to be very careful. These are few points only for slab. There can be more points when there are heavy concreting arrangements done on, say, tabletop construction of concrete, you can say, or high level concrete with heavy slabs of warehouses, which may be up to 500 mm thick. Heavy slabs could be there, or you can say bridges concrete, for example. Wherever there are chances, means what that activity goes on, how it and find solutions to that. Now we are going to talk of steel fixing. That's a part of slab itself, pre-pour activity. Steel fixing, steel, we talk of carbon steel bars, how to fix them, how to put them. It's very, very important one. Steel fixing, falling material. There is chance of falling material, slip, trip and fall, manual handling, cut injuries. That is important one. Cut injuries is very important. Slip and trip due to even the people can slip on bars. While walking on bars, they should not walk on bars. So, what we say these hazards, how to fix this. That's very important point everywhere. But experienced and trained steel fixers shall be engaged only. Experienced and trained people shall be engaged on steel work, and you can say adequate supervision is required. It's not simply we leave to them, because they concentrate on work, they don't concentrate on safety. After all, they're human beings. Sometimes they take contracts, subcontracts or subcontracts or item contracts from their own people. So they are interested in production and they forget they can face injury. In that case, there should be someone to supervise that work so that safety is maintained and progress also is maintained. Steel fixers should wear suitable gloves because it's hard. It's steel, hard surface. Of course, they should wear footwears and eye protection. Reinforcing bar shall be lifted into work area using certified lifting equipment, for example, crane or tower crane or some other way. I think there's no other way except this. And of course, cut off, rebar cut, reinforcing bar off cuts. Binding wire use requires to be removed in order to prevent slips, trips and falls. These are very common sense based methods conducted emphasizing hazards of bar bending, pinch points, you can say. Toolbox talks shall be conducted emphasizing hazards of bar bending, pinch points and handling steel rebar, sharp edges. Exposed vertical bars, namely pile caps, vertical bars, pile caps, columns, vertical bars, others that are left in a manner that exposes personnel to risk shall be covered or protected by plastic caps temporarily or by some other means. Whatever means, there should be protection. And if it is possible, what people don't do actually, because just putting on caps, plastic caps won't serve purpose of protection of those exposed bars. If these are long bars, I accept that you have to provide caps in addition to polythene covers, because we have to take care of corrosion also. That's important point. And if some bars are left above heads of people, it's not the problem. Problem comes only when these are a height of to where, let's say 45 centimeter above ground or above slab, or half a meter, or if it is more than 2 meters, or even you can say 1.5 meters above, more than 1.5 meter above, certainly it shall not cause any problem, because if somebody fall on slab level or shutters and not on that cap, where there is a chance of fall, cap should be used. It's not that because it's a fashion you have to use it. It's not necessary. And if you can say you can use something else, you can cover it by some other means if you have that one. Well, this depends on site requirements. So it's only statement that exposed vertical bars should have caps on those ends of bars and should not be left unattended. It should be left in a manner that exposes personnel to risk. Therefore, plastic caps temporarily can be used. No unauthorized person, no unauthorized access shall be allowed to whatever such steel areas. Warning signs shall be installed indicating exposed steel bars. Generally, on sites, outsiders are not allowed. But when work is done in some public area on road, there can be chances of accidents. On sites, everybody knows that you have to avoid it. They are trained people. Adequate and suitable steel dies should be used, die for work of bars. Adequate and suitable steel dies should be used properly, fixed to bender's desk or table or post. Preferably bending machine should be used. Though manually bending is not preferred. Manually bending is not preferred, but in case though manually bending is not preferred, but in case quantity is smaller and immediate electric supply is not available, as well as keeping appraised economy on item, it may be permitted. Similarly, cutting bars manually may be permitted, but electrical operated cutting machine is recommended. Electrical operated cutting machine is recommended for major rebar cutting for major quantities. You can say cutting bars manually may be permitted, but electrically operated cutting machine is recommended for major rebar cutting for major quantities. During manual cutting, safety risks are highly significant for hazard consideration, which requires strict and close control on safety. Cut, waste and smaller bars should not be left around on site locations as well as on site areas. That converts site into untidy description state. It is untidy and risky. All such pieces should be stored for possible use as either spacer parts or for scrap disposal. In case bars are required to be welded on site, all safety considerations about welding should be taken. Environment is not recommended. To an extent possible, steel bars should be assembled in shop and then raised or transported to location for a good functioning, but it's not always possible. For steel placing and fixing on higher levels, adequate arrangements of scaffolding and well-guarded working platforms must be made available for workers to stand safe on such platforms. Stepped access must be provided to lead to such areas. Adequate arrangements should be made by using wooden planks on steel assembled. meshes on horizontal placed steel for easy walking during working so that chances of falling from bare steel are avoided. Adequate arrangement should be made by using wooden planks on steel assembled meshes on horizontal placed steel for easy walking during working so that chances of falling from bare steel are avoided. Magnet should be used to remove all nails. Magnet should be used to remove all nails. Steel wires from forms prior to commencement of concrete pour. Such nails and wires should not be pulled out using arms. Strong, convenient steel fabricates chairs. Fabricated chairs should be placed as close as possible to allow good support to upper steel bars and smooth movement of steel bars and other personnel. These are few points in steel that are of concern and should be taken care of. Then we go to excavations and backfill excavations. There are more points steel, but I think safety issues generally are covered. Means collapse of excavation. That is one point. After excavation is going on, collapse chances do exist. Physical injury due to proximity of plant. Now, what measures can be taken? That's point. You can say only approved shovels, machines, excavators shall be used to carry out this work because of safety issues. Plant used to backfill excavations. We are talking of backfill. Plant used to backfill excavations should carry current certification and maintained in a safe condition. Plant shall be operated by trained and authorized personnel. Banksmen shall be deployed to control backfill. In case of mass fill, using mechanical equipment is to be ensured that pressure imposed from heavy equipment may not damage certain below ground services or else not damage nearby structures. Means this may damage structures also, existing structures. Simultaneously, to be studied that compaction in layer could be attained without compromising safety of equipment and personnel. In case backfilling activity, dusting on site results, water should be sprinkled for environment control. Installation, that is transportation, lifting of heavy equipment and there could be hazards. Equipment be defective or overloading of vehicles. Control measures being that plant equipment used shall be loading shall be closely supervised in attendance of trained banksmen. Rigging crane studies shall be conducted if so required, to ensure lifting operations carried out in controlled and effective manner. Until utilizing located provided rigging, crane studies shall be conducted